Okay, guys. So today we'll be building a dashboard, but before that, we'll be exploring this thing which is known as semantic model. So if I go to the model section, you are able to see this semantic model over here. So this is just same as data modeling that we have done. It's just that Microsoft has changed the name of it and named the data model as semantic model because there are different types of modeling when it comes to the Microsoft tools. Like they have different meanings. So Microsoft has changed the name from data modeling to semantic model over here. Okay. Now it has certain new features which has been given up. One is calculation group. We will discuss what this is. So what calculation group does is key, let's say you want to calculate max, min, average, sum, right? Agar, let's say if you have one variable which is sales. So if you want to know what is the max value of sales, min value of sales, average of sales, sum of sales. So you will be creating how many measures for that? 3, 4. Now let's say I want to see the same thing for the profit also. So 4 more measures. But with the help of calculation groups, we are able to basically reduce this redundancy of the measures, applying the same calculation again and again. So what we will do, I am going to say that whatever measure I select, all these calculations will be applied on that particular measure. So if I select sales, so it will be these calculations based on selection will be applied on this particular measure. If I select profit, so these calculations based on selection will be applied on this particular profit or any measure, right? So it is helping me to reduce the number of measures by not creating the redundant calculations applied on the measures. Okay, this is what calculation group is doing. Cultures. So if you see cultures over here, so this is basically the region it is picking up the language because, yeah, not system. It depends. Like for example, if I'm getting the data from the database, which is having the schema and some other metadata, which is telling me the, let's say, date format, currency, right? So based on using these some of the data, it is able to it is detecting from which region the data is being picked up, right? That's one way. The second way it is picking up the region is so let's say you log in, right? You log in into when you have an organization ID, log in into the Power BI. So based on your login, it is picking up the regions. Second way is this. Okay. So sometimes let's say it is not able to pick up the regions. You don't have that specific data, and if the Power BI fails to pick up the region, so what you can do is you can simply go to this file section and go to this options and settings and go to options. So here you can see we have the regional settings and not regional settings. I think it is. Yeah. From here, you can decide which language you want to choose. Okay? Manually, if the Power is not picking up the context or it is picking up the wrong language. Okay? Okay, so it is picking up the Windows default language for now. Now, what is the use case of culture is why I'm focusing on this regional language. Let's say the term football, because it helps me to increase the interpretation of the meaning of the words used in the analysis. Okay? Because Power BI service has a feature of giving you the insights. So based on the words it has picked up, it will give you the insights. So it will increase the accuracy of my data model while giving the interpretations. So let's say there's a term football. Now, football means different sport in UK and it's a different sport in USA. So the meaning of the term changes according to the regional language. Let's say the word cell. So industry specific in biology, it's a different biological industry. Biological industry, it's a different meaning. But in terms of telecom industry, cellular network is a different meaning. The word of cellular cell word or term has a different meaning. For example, let's say tea has a different meaning in India, and the same term is used for beverages in foreign countries. So if I am able to pick up the correct culture or the correct regional language, my model will be able to interpret correctly in a much better manner. Okay? That's the use case of culture over here. Then measures we all know. So I have 8 measures in my model which I created. Okay? Then we have a term which is perspective. Okay, so perspective is basically creating a subset of the data model. So as per the requirement or the business scenarios. So I can create different perspectives of the same data model, and I can switch between different perspective. When I say perspective, let's say I am saying I don't want to show a few tables in a particular data model. Okay. So what I will do, I will create a perspective and I will select only relevant columns and relevant tables which I only need for the business scenarios and not showing up the irrelevant data. It is also useful, let's say, if you are sharing this with someone and you don't want to share the entire tables or the entire data model, you just want to share a subset of the data model. This is data model. You just want to share a subset of the data model. So you can create a perspective and basically share that perspective with that particular person. Okay. Relationships, we all know. Kate is just defining, showing me all the relationships which are defined in the data model. Okay. Roles. So roles is over here is acting as a RLS, which is row level security. So you can define these roles using the DEX functions and the perspective as well using the DEX functions or DEX. Basically, for the roles you are defining, you need some of the dynamic DEX functions like username, where you will pass the username and username principal. So whenever you log in with that particular ID, so what will happen? You will be only shown the subset of the data. Let's say if you're north head, okay, and I have used some filtration. So whenever you will log in into the Power BI, you'll be only able to see the north region data. Okay, let's say manager, which is handling all these leaders, which is team leads from north, south, west, east. You want to show all the data to him. You will create a role for specific role for him and can give him the access to the entire data of all the regions. So that's what role is specific over here. Okay. So this is a new update in the this latest version of Power BI. Tables is just showing me all the tables in my models that I have. Not in my, I'll say in my models. So or in my report, what all tables I'm having. That is I'm having over here. So basically, overview of these terms is clear to everyone, right? Now let's see an application of calculation rule. Okay. So in order to use this, what you have to do is you have to use an external tool, which is tabular editor. So if I go to this external tool, there's a tabular editor. What I would like to do over here is I would like to create a calculation group, right? So I have tables, create new, and I will say calculation group. I will give the name to this calculation group as, let's say, aggregations. I told you it basically reduces the redundancy of the measures that you are calculating again and again with different measures. What I have done, I have created a calculated group whose name is aggregations. So calculations item. So I will add a calculation item over here. Let's say I'm saying max. Okay. Then one more I'll add, which is I'll say min. Min. One more I'll add, which I will name as average. Right. And one more I will add, which let it be these three for now. And I will name this as formula. Let's say. Okay. Now I will define the text expression for all of these calculations that I'm doing. Okay. So I will say यहाँ पे max, right? Equal. So I will say calculate, and then I will say, so after calculate, I used to define my expression where I used to define whether it is sum of sales amount or max of sales amount, min of sales amount, average of sales amount, right? But instead, यहाँ पे I won't define the column names. I will define the measures. Measures has to be dynamic. So I won't even give the measure name over here. So I will say simply selected measure. Whichever measure I select, you should, based on the selection from, if I select max on that particular measure, you should apply the calculation of max. Okay? And I will say selected measure and selected measure में अच्छा ये जरूरत नहीं है. I will say max. Calculator तो जरूरत है ही नहीं यहाँ पे. Max. And simply for, let's say if this works or not, then I will define for all others. Okay? Then I will go to this file and I will say save as or save. Some issue with it? Okay, so max function only accepts a column reference as an argument. Okay. Then in that case, how can I get this? It only takes column reference as an argument. Do we have max underscore x? Let me check. So max x. Uh, yeah, we do have max x like we have average x. So we do have max x also, right? What's the argument? Table expression. So let me give the. So I will say max x, and the table is, let's say, sales, and expression is, I will say, selected measure based on the selection, whatever measure I select. Now let's say this works. File and save as. Not over here. File and save. Yeah. So this is good to go. Similarly, I can define for the min. So let me just copy this. Selected measure is based on selection. Like we used to have selected value. Here I'm selecting the measure. So I'll say now min. So min x, done. And similarly for the average, I can have average x, done. Because what is the, I can say, the drawback of the average sum or max is that they only take column as an input and not a measure. I want to take measure as an input, right? Based on the selection. So done. Now I will save this. You can see the question mark. I need to save this. So I will say file, save. Done. Good to go. Okay. Now I'll close this. So now you have to refresh in order to apply those measures calculations. Okay? This will refresh those formulas which I have defined for those particular measures, or I can say calculation groups. Okay? Refresh now. Now in the calculation group, you can see there's a one calculation group which I have defined, whose name is what? Aggregations, which contains all the calculations for the measures which are regarding aggregations. So formula calculation items are three. So this shows the formula. Calculation items are average, max, and min. Okay. Okay. Now what I will do is I will drag this and let me create a table. In the table, I will get the product category. And along with that, not 1 second, and okay, and I will get the not sales amount. Let it be nothing for now. That aggregations. So this not over here. Sorry, I will add a slicer, and in the aggregations to have formula. So now I'll be treating this as a slicer. Okay. Now I'll get a measure, not a column. I'll get what? A measure. So measure is, let's say, not from the product table, sales table. I'm having profit. Okay. So not over here. Over here. Profit. Okay. So this is giving me, now I want to know the average. So it is returning me what? Average of profit. If I want the max of profit, it will return me the max of profit in those particular categories. If I want min of profit, it is giving me the minimum profit, or this specifically I can say the loss, right? Now in side by side, I also want to see for the total product cost, the same thing. So let's say I will get total product cost over here. Okay. Now I'm able to see the max, average product cost, and the average profit and minimum. So see, instead of calculating, if I say I have two variables and I have how many calculations? 3. So instead of creating 6 measures separately, what I have done, I'm just dragging the measures based on the selection. Whatever measure I'm selecting, it is performing that particular aggregation calculation on top of it. Clear? So that's the use case of calculation group. It is helping us to reduce the unnecessary measures that you're creating. Right. Similarly, you can create time intelligence as a calculation group and define all the calculations which are regarding time intelligence. For example, year-on-year change or previous year, same period last year. So these 3 you can put into the slices that, like, I have put average, max, and min. So now whichever year-on-year change, like, so you can basically drag year into the tables, and now cost, profit, whichever measure you track, it will be based on the selection. It will be calculating year-on-year change, same period last year value, like that. So it is helping you to reduce the number of measures that you're creating. So basically, there should not be any redundancy. Clear, everyone? With the calculation group part. Guys, clear with the calculation group, the use case? Then we have perspective. Okay, so let me again go to the tabular editor. Then we have perspective. So what I will do, model, right click, I will say create new perspective. Okay. The name of the perspective is, let's say, I am saying, what can I say? So I can say model subset, let's say, example, that's the name I'm giving. Now what I will do, I will go to tables and let's say sales table. From the sales table, I just want to show the order quantity. So I will say show in perspective, which perspective? Model subset. Yeah. So total cost, show in perspective, model subset. Similarly, I can say from the product table, just show standard cost in the perspective, model subset, and product category in the perspective, model subset. From another table, I should take, let's say, reseller, business type, show in perspective, model subset, let's say. Okay. So this is what I have done. I've created a subset of the model. Now, from here, if I select model subsets, you will be able to see I have only three tables in the subset perspective. In the perspective, I have only three tables and the columns that I selected from those particular tables. Clear? So file, and I can say save in order, let's say save. And so if I see I have only one perspective, which is model subset over here created. What all functionalities we are having. Mhm. Then relationships, so already there. Then you have roles, and so usually we can use DAX function in the organization one, but here in the tabular editor, we are given with this C++ you need to know in order to define the roles. Roles, as in you can say key. For example, I am defining the roles over here, the expression editor. So this is, if I say new role, so let me give the name as, let's say, user underscore, let's say Germany, okay, for a particular country. So now if you see script, what do you want to create? Create to clipboard or file, let's create or replace file. Develop model scripting language, not this one. Yeah, so over here, you need to write a C++ script in order to give basically the access to this user. So roles are basically used as a RLS feature. RLS feature as a row level security feature that only a subset of the data, filtered data. So whenever that user Germany logins into the Power BI, he'll be able to see only the data for the Germany. So for that, you need to write the C++ script over here. Okay. So just giving you, these are some very advanced functionalities, although you won't be defining the roles. Okay, but just giving you an idea about it, see how it's done. Sorry? You need to know C++ for that. Oh, sorry, C. Uh, she hash. Yeah. So just a second. Model permissions is none. Let's say I want to give them what permission I want to give administrator, read only or refresh. Let's say read. And row level security. Let's say table permissions, not over here. So there are no members. Let's say if you add a member and you give the member ID, whatever the member name is, let's say new member. Member ID, let's say 100. I'm not able to. Member ID, new member name. I think some permissions need to be required. It is not letting me. I don't remember. So these are the tables. Let's say calendar table. Mm, yeah, let's say if I say okay, product morning. Press enter to begin a new line and press control enter to accept text. Okay. Let's see if this accepts dex or not. If I talk about product table and if I say keep equals to components. So I have applied a row level security on 1 out of 14 tables, let's say, on the product table. And table permissions. So what all permissions we have on the product table, let's say. Read only, I'm giving the read only permissions. And if I talk about the members, yeah, not able to add the members over here. Administrator, yeah, sorry. I am just trying to do this membership thing. 1 second. I'm trying to create user roles. Let's have done this much. File. Save. It is saying it is not a valid product category. What is the name over here? It is product category. Okay. Mhm. Okay, so the problem is कि it is not able to connect the data model that I've created to the role that I've created, right? So यहाँ पे connection का issue आ रहा है यहाँ पे. So it is not connecting it. Zero model role members, and it is not even picking up the name, and I'm trying to type it over here. Okay, so maybe, huh? No, no. So usually not at this point. So for all these things, we have Power BI surveys. So these are just new of the new features which have been uh, launched in the latest version of the Power BI desktop. So maybe still they are in the developing stage. Okay, so you need to explore a bit on this side more. I'll also explore on this. But these are all the features that we have decided are on Power BI service just with click of buttons. So if I talk about row level security, there you can simply select in the Power BI service on the basis of which column you want to do the filtering. Okay, RLS is available in Power BI service. Then we have auto scheduled refresh. Then we have what else? Mm, Insights tab. So Insights tab will be more accurate if we provide the culture correctly, from which region the language is being picked up. Okay. So let me just undo this for now. I'll see what is the issue with this. Okay. So the only thing that you need to focus on over here is okay, is basically this calculation group is very important, which will help you in decreasing the redundancy of the tables. Okay. So if we have roles over here. Mhm. Okay. So just explore a bit more on the specifically on this. See, you know how to filter using the text, right? You simply use the filter function and the column name equals to category. So it is doing that correctly, but just see key why the role is not getting connected to the model. Just explore this on a bit. That's the only issue we are having over here. I'll also explore, and if possible, I'll share this file after this connection only. Okay. Okay. Now moving on to the dashboard part. So you guys have done some research on how you're going to build your dashboard. Have you guys have done any rough research on about how you're going to build your dashboard? Hmm? See, okay, so from here, I think I can manage the roles. User Germany product table. आई थिंक वो एक्सप्रेशन के बेसिस पे शायद यहाँ से हो जाना चाहिए. लेट्स अगर मैं एम्प्लॉय के बेसिस सेल्स रीजन के बेसिस पे करता हूँ, आई कैन ऐड न्यू एंड शो ऑफ all of these rules are true. ठीक है. Country should be equals to that particular value, whatever value that is. What are the values we are having in the country? नहीं, in the country group region. We have USA and save. Successfully applied role changes. ठीक है? And for the product, so I can switch to default editor, or I can go to the text editor. So यहाँ पे I can say product category equals to, let's say, components, and save. Now, what I have done, so I think it was not connecting there, but you can do it in the Power BI desktop itself. So go to manage security roles, and so this is the user's done money. Let's say the ID that I've created, a role that I've created, and I am applying the role level security over here. Is that the data he will be seeing is only for the components and for the country USA. Right? One save. Close. Done. I'll go to this roles one, which is so USA sales region. See, I've applied security on two of these tables. So now, whenever this user underscore USA will log in, he'll be only able to see the data for the components product, and the region will be USA. So that's how, if for multiple roles, I can define कि which sub data they will be able to see. So अभी ये feature अपने पास यहाँ पे आ गया Power BI desktop में. In the previous version of this, we had this feature only in the Power BI service. I mean, you can, yeah, what I have done is either you can use DAX function, or either you can use this, whatever this thing is, whatever we have used right now. कि आप सिंपली एक रूल ऐड कर दो और उसके बेस पे फिल्ट्रेशन हो जाएगा. ठीक है? Okay. Now coming to the dashboard. So what you guys have done any research or work for the dashboard part? How confident and how proud she is.
Like the confidence.
Okay, so if you guys haven't, then I have done some of the bit rough work on building up the dashboard. Okay. So let's say I have talked what key metrics we can have. So sales performance related, I can have total revenue, I can have sales growth. This one I cannot have. Total sales divided by the number of orders. Okay, this can I also have average order value. So I can create a KPI for this. Then sales performance related metrics, reseller performance related metrics, which are the resellers with the highest sales, and comparing the sales of different resellers. Then product performance, which are the top selling products, which are the top selling categories, lowest performing products, lowest performing categories. Geographical analysis, which regions are performing the highest sales, highest revenue, highest profit, like that. Okay? And how the sales are increasing over a period of time. So time-based analysis, right? Then let's say these are all I've thought what all kind of analysis with the available data that I have, I'm going to perform. Then how I'm going to basically visualize these analysis. So I can show the line charts for the trend over a period of time. So if I want to compare between different products, I can have the bar chart for that. Similarly, for the resellers also, if I want to know which reseller has captured the major percentage market share, I can have a pie chart for that, right? And yeah, so like this, we can have product performance, top selling products using the bar chart, and I can have the tree maps also, which will by default will give me top 5-6 products in terms of the sales, right? If I want to perform geographical analysis, obviously I'll be using maps. I can also use the heat map to show the intensity. I mean, the darker the color, so basically the higher the sales, I can say, right? Again, same type of charts. Now, how I'm going to design my dashboard, how I'm going to keep the layout of my dashboard. So this is just a rough work that you're going to do before building your dashboard. So let's say on the top, I'm going to have the total values, overall values, like total revenue, total sales, total profit, total number of orders, total number of customers, like this. Okay, so I will have all these things in the form of cards. Then I'm going to, let's say, create charts at the reseller levels, analyze the resellers. After that, I'm going to analyze the products, right? I cannot do the customer and new customer returning new customers or old customers things because I do not have the customers data, first of all. Okay? This we have seen time-based analysis, sales by region, or what is the regional growth, trend wala analysis. Okay. But now, so this first dashboard that I'm creating is related to sales. Now, what I will do, I will create a second dashboard which will show me the profit. Okay. So it will have basically like the layout will be something like this. Ki I will have total profit. What is the profit margin? Profit by reseller, profit by product. And how I am going to navigate between these two dashboards is, so I will add a button in the sales dashboard which will say ki, view profit dashboard, and then it will take me to the profit dashboard, and at the when I basically reach to the profit dashboard, then I'll have a back button which will take me back to the sales dashboard. Okay. So this is a rough work that you're going to do. After that, you're going to build your dashboard. Okay. So let's do that. So I want to show the overview of sales. So let me have the cards. In the cards, I will show what. So what's the total amount? हाँ तो डॉक्यूमेंट करना ही है ना, because what I have done is already documented. I'm not able to select. Just a second. Not able to select sales amount. I think because of what I have done over here. Uh, I'm not able to select sales amount. I'm able to select only profit. I need to go back to this. I need to change my subset. It is perspective, basically model subset. Na? I need to make it to all objects. See, यहाँ पे I think यहाँ पे it is expression editor. So यहाँ पे the syntax is different. You don't need to write the table name. Just write the column name in square brackets. And here it is basically double equals to, which works in the expression editor, not single equals to. ठीक है? Okay. So all objects, file, save, close. So in the roles, I'm having the product and the sales region. It is not picking up. I think I understand the reason कि they are being treated as a text. That is the reason. So what I will do is कि ये जो sales amount है, it is correct decimal. Why is it picking up as it? Not a profit. Just a second. Yeah, just give me a second. Let me check कि issue क्या हुआ है यहाँ पे ना. Not it. Just a second. So maybe that happened because I created that calculated group, because of which you were able to only like in the cards where you need an aggregated value, you'll be able to only track the measures in that case. Okay, maybe that is the reason, because there was no summation symbol in front of it, being it a continuous variable or continuous data type. So happy it should work. So we have total cost. So let me have the sales amount. Yeah. Then I have another marks card which will show me total cost. Then I will have another marks card which will show me profit. Then another marks card I can have. Huh? I've used a different file because when I created a calculated group, these symbols were removed. So I'm not sure of it. Uh, but you can always check if you create calculated group and the symbols are gone, then you can only track measures in a visual which accepts only a total aggregated value. Okay, so I have total sum of sales amount, total cost, profit. What else? So let's say this is AdventureWorks case study. What I want to do is I would like to have the logo of the company also, right? So I would like to insert a shape. So I will say insert. I will say image and second. I would like to have this logo as well of the company is over here. So these are the numbers which will show the, obviously you can change these from here in the formatting option. And then, so I would like to give a slicer. Slicer value, let's have the charts as per the categories. So I will have a bar chart or column chart, which will show me category wise sales of the product and sales amount. I can have one more chart which will show me products of category wise sales. So bar chart, because I have a lot of products of categories. And I can have product subcategory over here, and I can have sales amount. I can have also a line chart which will show the trend over a period of time. So let's say I can have a line chart as well. So I can have a calendar date over here and sales amount. Now I can enrich this information further. Obviously, this as well, if I break it down as per the business type. So I can have business type from the resellers into the, I can have the business type, same here for the business type, and same manner over here, I can have business type. So I can say this is what product level analysis. This sheet contains what? Product level analysis. If I want to see for the region specifically, I can have in the slicer, I can have the year. I can have the year. Where is the year? And I can have the geographical locations. Generally we keep where in the slicers only. So I can have the slicers over here. One more slicer, and I can check what I can keep in that particular slicer. So product, country, region for the resellers. Probably I'll go with country region specifically. There's no data for 2021, so I will apply a visual level filter over here. I will say date, years, and basic filtering, and no data for select all except 2021. Make sense? So in 2022 in Australia, I was in basically loss. So these are also the numbers which is representing the overall numbers as per the filtration. Okay. And I can have one more card over here, which will show me year on year change from 17 to 18 in Australia. So there was no sales. Right? 19 minutes check, blank 2020. So 19 to 2020, there was a decline in sales by 41%. Okay. And we can see that this particular category, which is value added resellers, has business category has basically gone down drastically in terms of sales over a period of time. Right? It has got a decreasing trend. If I talk about Germany, let's say, so these are the numbers for the Germany. So this is how you can basically perform your analysis. See, ultimately it took time in building up what the in basically doing the data preparation and building KPIs. Right? The dashboard does not take that much time in Power BI. Tooltip. Tooltip कहाँ show रहा है? Tooltip as a sheet I'm not using. It is just, it's not a tooltip, it is just showing me the numbers of what this particular chart. Like we were showing a different data. If I'm saying I want to show what are the subcategory, top 5 subcategories in bikes, if I hover on the bikes or business type, let's say business type कहाँ पे है? Warehouse पे अगर मैं hover कर रहा हूँ, it will show me the top 5 subcategories for the warehouse. That's a different thing, tooltip. So this is, I can say, sales overview. Sales, right? I can basically format this chart further. I can say go to filter, and I'm saying sum of sales, some product subcategory. There's no point of seeing all the product subcategories. I will say top n, top 5 on the basis of what? Why? On the basis of sales amount. And apply filter. Done. So it is showing me the top 5 subcategories in terms of sales amount for each of the business types. Clear? Yeah. Can we what? Hierarchies. Okay, so it's not product subcategory. You can have these the hierarchy that we have created in the product table. We have this product category. You can have this. Okay, so what we can do in that case is, let's say if I'm not having this and this, here in the product category, I can have the hierarchy. Let me remove the name as such from the hierarchy. So I have bikes. So here what will happen? It will further drill it down. If I have bikes, okay? If I select bikes, 1 second. Let's say if I want to put next level based on selection, I want to basically this is which one warehouse subcategories for the bikes. It is showing me all the business type the subcategories for the bikes. Yeah, that can also be done. It depends. So in that case, what I can do is I can add one more visual over here. Basically, I can add a heat map. So I have a tree map. Basically, let's say I have a tree map. And in the tree map, what I can keep in the tree map, let's say sales amount. Where's the sales amount? That's what I'm doing. What postal code? Like the city also. Where's the sales amount? Yeah. So it is giving me the top country region in terms of sales amount. So basically, United States is at the top. If I want to see for the United States based on selection, go down. Next, what's next? And United States. So yeah, for the United States, you are able to see the bifurcation over here further. Okay. So I can say California at the top, then Washington, then Texas. So if you want to identify the top 3-4 categories in terms of sales amount for each of the regions, that can be done using this tree map. Make sense? Then in that case, this filter won't make any sense. Then you have to remove this. And you can have the sales value. So that's what I'm thinking. So let's say I can have a sales amount in the target. I can have that's a target value. So that's much count. It is taking count. Why count? 1 second. Okay, it's a text. Just a second. Changing the data type. Back to the visual. It has taken the target. One minimum value. Target value will be targets. Sum of sales amount and target. One second. Is the target was same? For different years, we have different targets. So it is 500 watt. Maybe it can be the quantity. Right? If we talk about the quantity, because it's not obviously the sales amount type. So if I talk about the quantity, let me have the order quantity. Yes, and the targets. Target value of the not making sense. Targets divided by 1,000. It was what time? It was 5 lakh. So missed home tab. Just a second. Okay, let me just do one thing. Let me create a measure over here. No? New measure, which is sum of targets, which will give me what? Value, which is the sum of sales targets. Let me check what is the total target value. It's 6-7K. Okay, that's correct. What is the order quantity I'm getting total? Yeah, so it should give me correct then in that case. Order quantity will be the value, and my target value is this. Okay. Why is it not showing is key? I need to change the formatting of this. So what I will do is format and max is 7K. Okay. Now you're able to see key the quantities uh, sold out is much lesser compared to what has been whatever the target was given to the employees. And the targets are always given on the higher sides, which are not achieved in real life scenarios in most of the cases. Okay. So if I say 2018 के basis पे, okay, it's a single value which is not getting filtered on the basis of this. Second. I'll create a new column over here. Which is, I'll say, equals to date, year. Year is, let's say, I'll say year column. Sales target. year, and then it is asking for the month. So month is basically, I'll say simply write of text is sales target months, and I'll say write of two. Okay. Then it is saying day. Day is one. I'm keeping, and date. Now I'll define the relationship between the date table and the calendar table and the target table. Date table is one to many. I think single direction will also work over here in this case. Okay. Let me make it single. Okay. This will work. Data is flowing from the sales to calendar and calendar to, sorry, targets to calendar, calendar to sales. अच्छा, यहाँ पे डेटा का रिवर्स फ्लो है ना, तो यहाँ पे बाय डायरेक्शनल करना पड़ेगा. Back to that visual. So 17. Yeah. So now you can see it's dynamic, right? I'm able to see the data for each and every year after defining the relationship. So now we are following which type of schema? Snowflake. Because it was needed. So that's how we'll keep making the changes as per the requirement. Okay, यहाँ पे 17, 18 blank भी आ रहा है इसके basis पे. So I will remove this blank from the visual. Basic filtering, don't consider blank. Okay. 19, 20, if you want to see for the specific year. 18, what was 19? So I think 18 was the year where the target achieved was the nearest to the target given. Okay. So based on this, you can build a dashboard. So now this is my overview sales dashboard. In the similar manner, you can build a dashboard which will show the profit analysis, and then you can basically hover from the profit dashboard to the sales dashboard. So what all I can have over here? Let's say I can have again. So let's say you can name this as profit analysis. We can have a column chart again. So for a category which will give me profit. I think I should go with bar chart in this case. I can have the profit over a period of time. So I will have a line chart for that. Then slicer में again I'll keep the years. I will remove the blanks. Basic filtering, remove the blanks. Do we have a heat map? Yeah. This is not a heat map. Let me just get it. What? I can have the heat map, let's say. Let me build this one. Profit. Expand this and try to understand. Hmm. It is showing me the by group. By only group. It is just picking up one thing no, from the hierarchy. So let's say if I don't want to show the, it is just picking one thing. If I use this, say it is just picking up the first level, not the entire, right? Okay. So there's no. So what I will do, let me just remove this and get some other visual. So let me create a map only for that. I think it makes sense. Bubble size will be depicted by the profit. So I can see over here, the highest profit is we are getting from which region group? North America. If I go to next level in the hierarchy, from North America to USA and Canada are returning me the good profit. UK में it is France. If I go to further next level in the hierarchy, then legends में I want to give what? I want to give the hierarchy only. No? Okay, I think it's better to visualize. See, North America, Europe, Pacific. If I go to the next level in the North America, legend is picking up one thing. No issue with that. Mm, Let me get the business type also in the legends. Makes sense. Yeah. So now if I see in the North America, probably the warehouse and value-added reseller business type is performing very good. ठीक है compared to specialty bike, but यूरोप में क्या है? यूरोप में value added is not performing that good. France में specifically it is these two. So basically we can continue some of the business categories in some of the countries to reduce the cost. That gives us a good feedback over here. ठीक है, done. Okay, done. So let's say this is my profit analysis which I've built. Now I'll do one thing over here. I'll add a button somewhere. No, I need to add a button. I can say insert button, and I can say blank. I will rename this as click for profit analysis. I can make it a bold, and I can fill some colors. The type of action that I'll associate to this is bookmark. Let's say if I create a bookmark, either I can use page navigation or I can use bookmark. Okay. So I am using page navigation, let's say. So this button action is on, and I'll say type of button is page navigation. Destination is profit analysis done. So once I click over here, it will take me to the profit analysis. I can add one more button over here. I can have the back button. Okay. Simply, I'll just click on this and it will take me back to the previous page. So this is a very basic report analysis that I have done. Let me save it. Right. But you can, if you have multiple, if you need to build multiple dashboards like product level dashboard, then region level dashboard, marketing level dashboard, profit dashboard. So what you can do is you can your home page may contain several buttons, like I told you previously, which will indicate, which basically will assign those actions, page navigation action to all of these buttons, to which dashboard you want to navigate the user on a single click. Just like we have done over here. Same. Clear? And now, so what you can do is simply go to the home tab. One second, home tab. And now simply you just need to click on publish, and you need to give your save. And you need to give your basically the organization ID. If you have a PowerBI service account, your basically if you have a PowerBI service account, your workspace will already be created. And in that particular workspace, you will be able to publish your this report. Konsa? I don't have the PowerBI service subscription. So that you can, but you need to purchase the subscription of the PowerBI service. That's not free. Okay, PowerBI desktop is free, but service is not free. So when you get an organization ID, the organization gives you the subscription along with it. So I'm just telling you how you can publish it. Okay. So once you have published it and you have set the auto schedule refresh and to whom you're going to share this dashboard and everything is sorted. So now this entire thing will go in automation. Now you are going to move on to the next project. Okay. Let me know any queries till this point. Anyone? हाँ कौन सा वाला legends tool tip में you can put continuous variable. Let's say I can put profit or I can put this sales amount in the total. So when I hover over it, it will show me the sales amount along with the profit. Okay. All right, guys. Any queries till this point on how to create a dashboard or a report? So basically, you need to build a story by going back and forth to multiple sheets. One more thing over here, like, so this is a PowerBI service report view. Let's say someone needs to open it into the mobile app. So you need to also create a mobile layout view of this. Once you click on this, so what you have to do is, this is how it is going to look like. Mobile layout view. So I am saying auto create. Let me. So this is, I mean, you need to do some adjustment of the visuals and the formatting and basically the size, and it will basically this visual will be applicable. The dashboard will be, you will be able to open it up in the mobile app. Okay, that's how the mobile layout looks like. You need to do the formatting on top of it for each and every visual as per the size you need to allocate, and it is good to go. Okay, so currently I'm giving it a desktop layout view. Any queries? Anyone? See, once you have understood what data you are going to use for the analysis and you have derived the KPIs, then building a dashboard is not that much time consuming. Once you know what analysis you're going to perform. Okay. Guys, any queries? Offline, guys. Clear? Anyone? If not, then I'll stop for today. And with this, we are done with DBA part, right? Perspectives. Which one? Perspectives. Okay. Let me open up the another file for that. Let me just save this because I would not like to hamper this dashboard. So perspective is simply creating or only basically having those tables or columns in your data that data model only for performing your नेट चला गया था. Okay, so it will fit out unnecessary tables and columns. How you can create this? Again, you have to use an external tool which is tabular editor. And you can say new perspective, and the name of the perspective is, let's say I'm giving as model subset. Okay. So now which all tables I want to have this in perspective. Let's say from the sales table, I want to have the order quantity. So I will say show in perspective in all perspectives or in a particular perspective you want to show. So I want to show in only model subset, this particular column. Then standard cost in uh, model subset. Let me have the order date as well. Then from the product table, okay, just a second, just tabular editor. Then in the product table, I am having product category, product subcategory. Let's say these two tables I'm having only in my perspective. So now I'll say file and save. So if I see यहाँ पे perspective में, you see what is the perspective selected currently? All objects. If I select my perspective, which is model subset, so you're able to see I have only two tables, and in these two tables I have only those columns which I have included in that particular perspective. So you have to basically select it over here. Let's say I have selected this one and file. So it's a view. So let's say let me just save it and close. So this is a perspective which I've created now. Model subset. Let's say this is the perspective I've created, and Let me see if I'm able to get any other thing over here. Yes, I'm able to get. I'm able to get sales amount. नहीं, देखो, I'm not able to use this since I've created this perspective. All the submissions have gone the moment I've created perspective. Now let me see what all I'm having in that particular perspective. External tools, tabular editor. पर्सपेक्टिव एक बार सेलेक्ट करो, देखो तो सबमिशन दिखा था मॉडल पे करो ऊपर, कहाँ पे मॉडल पे व्यू पे यहाँ पे मेजर कॉलम हायरार्की columns hierarchies. So all these are selected. Let's say metadata information, what information we're having over here on the model subset. It's a model. And so if I say model subset, what all tables I'm having over here? Sales table may it is standard cost, order quantity, and order date. Okay. Let me go and back and check. These have become text. I don't know what is the issue over here. तो यहाँ पे समराइज बाय नन है ना, ठीक है. ऑर्डर क्वांटिटी देखो यहाँ पे समराइज इट इज बाय सम, सेट कॉस्ट बाय सम, दैट इज करेक्ट. बट यहाँ पे that's true. Same. Okay, I have created the perspective. Let's see how I can use it. Let me search about it. One second. How to active the perspective. That's just a subset of the data model. Okay, so it's saying assign a perspective to a visual. Just a second, let me explore this. This is the reason we are not able to basically work on perspectives. We are able to create it, but we are not able to work on it. We are not having that options in the Power BI desktop because it is supported in. So Power BI service, that's a client-based tool. No? That's a client-based tool. I need an organization ID, not with the personal ID. I can't. No. They are having, but they are having for the analytics project that cannot be used in the class because they have the workspace created for that, and that is confidential. So there are videos. There are videos which are self-paced videos, which are made on Power BI service, which will be having on your LMS. I think you have Power BI service videos on your LMS. बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स में नहीं है, it will be a separate thing. Available होगा बट वो चेक करो, ठीक है? So that is why I'm able to just create the perspectives, but it is not supported in Power BI desktop. It's a feature of the Power BI service. So you can create it in Power BI desktop. Then once you publish it, you will have an option of selecting it that particular perspective over there. So over there, it will create a subset of the data model. Okay? Yeah. Clear, Ashok? Here it is not supporting it. Any other queries, guys? Calculation groups. So that's to reduce the redundancy of the calculations that you are going to create for the measures. Let's say if you are creating 5 calculations, if you perform 5 calculations like average, min, max. Yeah, in the entire. Let's say if you have 5 measures, sales, total sales, then you have profit and cost. Like say you have 4 or 5 measures. So if you are going to create a summary for these 4 or 5 measures, so you need to create around how many measures for that calculations? For around, let's say, 4 variables you have, right? 4 measures you have, and each variable you want to perform 4 type of calculations. So around 16 measures you'll be creating separately. So instead of creating that 16 measures separately, you can create measures. Visuals are separate. So instead of creating those 16 measures separately, what you can do, you can create a calculation group having the name as aggregation, which will have those 4 aggregations. Now, whichever measure you will select, that calculation and the calculation that you will select in the slicer, that calculation will automatically be applied to that particular measure. So we have seen that over here, no? Just a second. See over here, what I have done, I have created 3 calculations in a calculation group named as aggregation, and I have selected 2 measures over here, product cost and profit. So when I click on average, it will show me the average for each product category for each of these measures. If I click on max, it will show me the max value. If I click on min, it will show me the min value. So instead of having, let's say, 3 to the 6 measures separately, I have just created a single calculation group for that. Okay. Online guys, any other queries? Okay. So if not, I'll stop for today. With this, we are done with Power BI, and I'll activate the case study.